Journaling might sound a little bit pretentious. It might sound a little bit woo-woo, and for someone who wants to get in touch with their feelings, you might even associate it with someone who's gone to find themselves in some Far Eastern retreat and kind of given themselves to yoga, beads, and strange, smelly dreadlocks and hair, and a high hint of body odor. But it doesn't need to be that sort of thing, because journaling actually can offer you some benefits in everyday life, whether that be your fitness goals, whether that be just what you want to do in terms of your career, and lots of other different things. So in this particular episode of the show, I'm going to talk you through how I use journaling within my own life and how I recommend you follow a similar process so that you too can be more precise with achieving your fitness goals. And like I said, you can actually use this to permeate through all of your life as well, if you so wish. Now, it might actually be the case that you are journaling already. Now, I know what you're saying, Simon, I'm fucking not journaling. I'm not sitting here writing, hey, dear diary, I lifted 100k in the gym yesterday and I feel amazing. Or, dear diary, I ate one donut yesterday and now I feel like crap. That's not really what I'm talking about. Journaling takes lots of different forms. Now, for example, the fact that you go to the gym, I'm assuming you do go to the gym if you're listening to this. The fact that you go to the gym and you track things like sets, reps, weights, exercises, all of those different metrics, that's kind of a journal. You're keeping a logbook of what you're doing with your training, with your workouts, in order so that you can look back on that on a daily basis or weekly basis, whatever it is, to see where you've come, how far you've come, what you need to do in the coming sessions in order to beat that logbook, whether that's one rep or you want to look at better execution or you want to increase the weight on the bar. You're actually journaling, you're logging this process so that you can make some objective decisions about where you want to take your training next. And that's the key fundamental part of journaling in itself. Whatever context with which you use it, it's about logging where you're at right now. Where do you want to get to? What are the actions that you're going to take in order to make that happen? Even going down to something like tracking food in MyFitnessPal. Okay, it's not quite journaling in the truest sense of the word, but if you're doing it in the right way, you're actually logging the food that you eat and you consume, and then you should be reflecting on that process. If you're not, I would highly encourage you to do that. Don't just put food into MyFitnessPal and then just fucking forget about it and just say, oh, well, it was slightly over, slightly under, and just move on to the next day. Reflect and say, okay, what did I learn about this tracking process? Because that's what it is. Tracking should be an educational tool, not just something that is your crutch for the rest of your life, because that's probably going to create an unhealthy relationship with food and it's not going to be sustainable. So be looking back through those MyFitnessPal days and saying, right, okay, was this day a good day or was it slightly off track? Is there something I can learn? Is there something in terms of the foods that I'm eating that I can change and adapt? Maybe you want to reduce processed food. Maybe you want to reduce the amount of refined sugar, increase vegetable intake, adjust protein, all those sorts of things. You can be learning and adapting from these little food log journals. So this process of journaling actually shouldn't feel that alien to you. But what you can benefit from is making it a little bit more precise and a little bit more conscious thought as to what's going in terms of how you're achieving your goals. So these forms of measurement and reflection are there already. You just now got to take them and actually apply them to different aspects of life, really. Now, there are four main reasons why I personally use journaling and why I think that you should too, because it gives you a lot of different benefits. Number one, it helps you to develop a clear plan of how you're going to achieve your goals, whether they be daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, lifetime, whatever. Because the worst thing that you can do is set goals. You might spend ages mapping out the perfect goal. You've got input goals, you've got output goals, and you've got all these different goals. You might have even gone down and created a mood board and all of that that is probably hippie bullshit. but you've gone down that route of really planning out these goals in detail, but then you've stopped at the most important point of the process. And that is turning those goals into an actionable plan. Okay, you want to lose weight, you want to increase strength, you want to build muscle in the gym. All these different sorts of things are your goals, but what are you actually going to do? What are you going to do on a daily basis to actually make it happen? Where are you going to fit 5 gym sessions into your current schedule of life and maintain progress and maintain sanity and maintain all the other things that you've got to do in life, like a career and your family? Where are you going to actually, do your meal prep if that's what you want to do? When are you going to do this? How are you going to adjust your lifestyle to try and fit in all the different component parts that you need to do to make sure that you have success? Because if you're not making room for them, you're just writing shit down that's never going to happen. And that's just pointless. You can also use this process of journaling to reduce the likelihood of off-track days and weeks and things like that. So how many times have you started down the path, probably in terms of weight loss, not so much in terms of building muscle? People, generally speaking, if they're building muscle, should be in the mindset this is going to take a long time to build muscle. But when it comes to weight loss, people expect fast results all the time, expect daily, weekly, monthly, everything to be moving in a freight train-like fashion constantly. But actually, it doesn't really work like that. And often you'll have times where you go slightly off track, whether that is you've been away on holiday and you tried to manage your calories, not that you have to do that, but you tried to manage calories while you're on holiday, it didn't quite work out for you, or there was business dinner or birthdays, weddings, bar mitzvahs, a fucking Tuesday, something came along that just kind of scuppered your plans. Well, if you are journaling, you should be actually forecasting those things to be happening. You can look at the week ahead and say, right, okay, what is on the agenda? What can I do? What do I have to adjust to in order to ensure that I maintain my progress and I stay on track? Journaling is great for that. You can also use it to reflect on a daily basis and aim to just get a little bit better. Again, you're not really trying to get perfect at this process. Nobody is perfect in terms of what they do every hour of the day, minute of the day, every day of the week, and so on and so forth. You do come to points where you falter, you stutter, you stumble, but they're all your different learning points. But if you've not got a process of actually rationally taking these hurdles and really figuring out, okay, what was it about that caused me to veer off track? What actually caused me to go down the wrong path, make the wrong choice, and all those different sorts of things? If you're not reflecting on that, you're just going to hit the same brick wall time and time again. And really, this process of journaling and just a short reflection time every day really can help you basically learn from those issues that you face and also enable you to constantly move forward. And then finally, they allow you to celebrate small wins and keep motivation, because that is one of the key things that if I look through my Instagram DMs or my email inbox, a lot of the feedback comes in various different formats and different kind of themes on the same subject, but it is kind of a case of motivation starts to wane after a while. We all get to that point where we start off with a goal, with something new. It is that kind of shiny shit mentality where this is new, it's brand new, I'm going to be fucking amazing, I'm going to fucking lose weight and all this sort of shit. But then you get to the point where, well, actually, now this process actually requires some boring stuff to happen day after day. It requires a little bit of a grind in the terms of, yeah, I've got to go to the gym, got to keep plugging away. Okay, I'm not making huge amounts of PB progress in the gym, but I've got to keep grinding it out. Okay, I'm trying to manage my nutrition, trying to do that better, whether that's a calorie tracking approach or otherwise, you're still trying to do those things, and it can get a little bit monotonous. So motivation starts to wane, and as soon as that happens, you start to really kind of lose all sort of hope with this process. Whereas actually, the issue you've got is that you're measuring day-to-day progress to a long-term goal, and that's kind of what's fucking you up. If your goal is to, let's say, lose 20 kilos, 20 kilos is going to take a fair bit of time for you to lose. And think about it, if you're on day 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, and if all you're thinking about is 20 kilos, that feels a fucking lifetime away, and it will cause you to feel really demotivated and kind of not help you in terms of sticking at it for the long term. But if you've got this process where you celebrate small wins, like I've never been to the gym before, but I've gone 3 times a week for the first 2 weeks. That's an awesome fucking win. And you are doing the right things in terms of inputs to get the output goal that you want. And it helps to keep that motivation high. Now let's talk about those things in a little bit more detail. First up, let's talk about the clear plan to achieve your goals. Now, the way that I do this personally, and you don't have to do it this way, but I read 2 books that really kind of had a profound effect on me and helped me to help build my business to where it is right now, but also in terms of thinking about fitness goals and things like that. Now, one book was called The One Thing. Now, I'm going to paraphrase the shit out of this. So hopefully you go and maybe read the book, or at least kind of get some sort of read an article on it or something like that to get the salient points out of it. I'm going to bastardize it and bring it down to like 1 sentence for you. So The One Thing is all about that long-term goal that you've got, but thinking about what's the one thing that you can do right now, this week, so on, so that above everything else, if you just did this one thing, what one task could you do this week that helps you make the most progress towards your goal? Yes, you could do 100 other things as well, but what's the one thing that's going to make the most impact in terms of achieving your fitness goals? And then make that your priority. Make sure that's the one thing that you plan for. That's the one thing that's the non-negotiable that you always do. Now, I took that concept one step further when I read the book, The 12-Week Year. This book was all about trying to condense a year's worth of work into a really confined 12-week period. Now, this might not be hugely applicable in a fitness goal, because if you've got a year-long goal, you're not really going to run that into 12 weeks. But it was the concept whereby they really managed in detail what would happen over the course of 12 weeks. What would happen over the course of a month, a week, and so on and so forth. And when you combine those 2 things together, you're saying, right, okay, what am I going to achieve over these 12 weeks? Cool. What's the one thing that I can do in these 12 weeks to help me achieve that goal? What's the one thing I can do this month, this week, today in order to help me achieve that goal? And that should be what steers how you create your plan, how you create what it is you're going to do. So you're going to have a list of things that you want to do, but what's the most important? And start to prioritize what it is that you're doing so that you really are focused on the right things. For example, it might be going to the gym 4 or 5 times a week. It might be to make sure your nutrition's on track. It might be those 2 things, or to get your step count up. Let's say it's 3 things that you are going to do, you're really going to focus on. So before you look at anything else, make sure your plan consists of how you are going to make those 3 things happen. Don't fucking worry about meal timing. Don't fucking worry about sets, reps, and all this sort of fucking drop sets and all that sort of weird shit that can come way further down the line. It's just minutia that you do not need to worry about. Make sure you've got those basics in place. If you haven't got those basics in place, everything else is just not really going to materialize for you. The next thing then is to look at reducing the likelihood of your off-track moments. Now, the way I would do that is take some time, probably makes sense to do it on a Sunday before the week ahead, and just sit there and map out in your calendar. I do mine in my Google Calendar on my computer. And I think about, right, what is it in terms of whether it's social events, going to see friends, family, birthdays, nights out, all those sort of things. Where are those sitting in the week? And start to put those into your diary. That should then give you, say, a sense of, right, okay, I'm going out for drinks on Friday. So what am I going to do to adjust my diet if I want to, in order to make sure I stay on track? How am I going to adjust things? Does that mean that I can't go to the gym as I normally would? If so, are you going to make an adjustment to that? It starts then to build up how you're going to actually achieve your goals. Then I would start to overlap that with, okay, where am I going to put my gym sessions into this particular week's worth of training? Where are you going to put your meal prep if that's something you're going to do? And so on. All these tasks that you're going to do that may help you achieve your goals need to be planned in. Now, you could argue this seems too onerous, but what happens is if you do it consistently enough to start with right now, it actually becomes a very automatic process in the future. So you don't really have to go to this level of detail all the time. It's just right now, it's helpful for you to map this out and really consciously think about what you're doing. The third thing then is reflection. Now, I would do this every day, 10 minutes at the end of every day, just write down 3 things that went well and 3 things that you can learn from for the next day. Real, super simple, doesn't need to take forever. You can do it while you're having a shit on the toilet, although who shits in the evening? Not me. Maybe you do, don't know. Or whether you are just watching TV, something like that. Just take some time, 3 things that went well, 3 things that you can learn from and do differently. Again, it helps you just to kind of learn from any issues that cropped up. Maybe it even sparks you to say, actually, this fucking thing happened. I don't know what to do. So I'm going to freaking DM that Simon dude and ask him what to do. Or you're going to say, okay, I'm going to join its online coaching program and maybe he'll just, guide me through it. You can do that. And then finally, you go through like the gratitude process. Now, this is trying to help you maintain motivation and really kind of keep reminding yourself that actually things are really positive in your life at the moment. Okay, you might not have achieved your end goal, but actually you're progressing towards something that you've never taken these sort of logical steps towards and these sort of systematic steps towards on a regular basis. So whether it's first thing in the morning, probably it's a good opportunity. Maybe it's last thing at night, depending on how it suits your lifestyle. But write down 3 things that you are grateful for from the last 24 hours. Now, it's important it's from the last 24 hours because you could put down, well, I'm thankful for my health, or I'm thankful for the roof over my head. Now, they are things that you generally would be grateful for, but you want to get connection to positive things that are happening in the moment. So it might be that in terms of you're thankful for your health. Well, actually, was that I'm grateful for the fact that I went to the gym today. I felt really shit about, didn't really want to go, but I'm grateful for the fact that I pushed myself to go because I had an awesome workout. Again, it makes it a little bit more pertinent to the situation you're in right now, rather than these more sort of existential, like life things that you're thinking about. So in summary, this whole journaling process doesn't need to feel like it's this woo-woo kind of horseshit hippie thing that only people going to kind of get in touch with themselves and do some weird ass tantric sex should be doing. This actually keeps you honest, keeps you moving forward, and keeps you objective and honest to yourself. So accountability is huge. And this is a way that you can do that because no one else is going to see this journal unless you want them to. So you can be as honest as you like with yourself. Don't hide shit from yourself. If something went a little bit astray and you need to sort your shit out, then have a word with yourself and do that. It also helps you turn all of these dreams and these goals into an actionable plan. That's the important thing. A lot of people will go and say #bodygoals or #bodygoals 2019, 2020, whatever, new year, new me, all that sort of bollocks. But you can write shit down, you can post stuff on Instagram, you can hashtag the shit out of every post you do, but unless you've got an actionable plan that you are taking action on, forget it. Don't mean jack shit. So a journal can help you be on track, like you are with your training. You look at your training, you say, I did 100 kilos times 8 reps. That's no bullshit. I did that. Next week, I'm going to try for 9 reps. Fucking I did it. Boom. It keeps you honest to that process and it makes it actionable and tangible. So make sure you're kind of taking that process and putting it across other things that you do in life. The other thing is that the more conscious thought you have into this whole process, whether that is trying to get to the gym more, trying to do your meal prep, or just adopting better lifestyle habits, the more conscious thought you put into this process, then actually the more subconscious your actions become. If you think about it, the more that you consciously think about something now, the easier it is for it to become a habit. Now, once it's an ingrained habit, you are going to think about it a lot less. It's going to feel less onerous. It's going to feel automatic. It's going to feel like this is now just part of your lifestyle. But to make that habit stick, for you to make good habits solid, to build them in the first place, and maybe to break some bad habits, you are going to need to put conscious effort in. So don't expect habits to materialize overnight subconsciously. You're not going to wake up one morning and now going to the gym 4 times a week is now just miraculously a part of life. You need to consciously think about it, plan for it, take action. Once it's then become an ingrained habit in your lifestyle, it just becomes that automatic process. So more conscious thought leads to more subconscious action. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of the show. If you did, feel free to come and let me know. Come talk to me on Instagram at iron_paradise_fitness. And also, as I mentioned at the start of the show, you can access my free online calorie calculator if you want to get ahead with your nutrition, get on track, and then start making progress from day one. You can use that. It's all for free. Link is in the show notes. You can also download a free 4-week training program as well. So if you're a beginner, again, you want to get on a good footing with training in the gym and make sure you're following a really solid program. If you've got less than 2 years experience in the gym, that program is going to be perfect for you. Again, it's free. You can access it from the page where you find the online calorie calculator. But for now, all I'm going to say is thanks so much for listening. Keep living the lean life, and I'll see you for the next episode of the show.